Jay Mormon seems like your average businessman, working in what many consider a struggling Butler and Warren County town.
When we invested in doing this building downtown Middletown, was that a good investment? Probably not, as far as a businessman would be concerned.
But the 66-year-old and his wife Linda are using their business to open doors and colorful windows between different religions and communities across the globe. Mormon owns the oldest stained glass studio in America. It's 175 years old this year, and it's located right here in Middletown, Ohio.
We do exactly what they did centuries ago the same way. We've got a little bit better tools, but basically it's the same thing.
The 3-story operation, called Bovair Reardon Stained Glass Studio, is the heart of the city's downtown. But the work made inside goes as far as Ireland and Jordan, and all over the United States.
We're doing a $60 million house in Chicago.
Mormon is an artist, making intricate stained glass windows and doors that can cost as much as $50,000. And each one can take months to complete.
It's painting with the glass, and the light makes it change every day. From morning to night, you have a different picture. And the colors are so vivid.
They are the pieces you see inside churches and mosques.
This was what would be used for, like, Christ's cloak. It would designate the folds in the actual material, but it's a bear to cut because it's not smooth.
He says his studio is responsible for the stained glass artwork in at least 1,000 religious centers in the tri-state, like this Catholic church in Westchester and this Islamic center on Tylersville Road. It took more than 2 years to complete.
It's inspiring. I mean, the churches started out getting stained glass because it just made it feel more warm and fuzzy in the church. Also, that was how they taught the peasants who were illiterate. They couldn't read the Bible.
Religions that are sometimes so defined by their differences are connected with Mormon's artwork that is much the same.
They might call their higher power something else, but they all got the same goal, and they've all been different to work for.
Mormon and his employees research the religious figures from each denomination before starting a new project with a client. They've got hundreds, maybe even thousands of books that they've acquired since the studio was founded in 1838.
It was just all the symbolism and research that we do on the different churches and windows that makes each one special.
Each piece of art starts out as a small-scale drawing before he draws it full size. That pattern is used to cut the glass, and he then simulates what it will look like in the sunlight.
Painting with the glass, the different shading and colors.
Every piece of glass is carefully selected for texture, color, and imperfection.
Nothing in nature is perfect, so there may be even a brown spot on a leaf. You pay attention, you don't cut each leaf that's green.
Mormon says he's got 50,000 pounds of glass in his studio. And like a collector of baseball cards, he says each piece is different.
And it looks altogether different with the sun coming through, but the cutability is phenomenal. It cuts like butter compared to some of the other glass, and that's because of the annealing process.
He's purchased entire studios just to get the glass inside.
All of this glass is not made anymore. When Tiffany made glass, he was the son of a jeweler. He had unlimited resources, chemist, that the glass he made, the colors, the textures, everything, he had a purpose.
But Mormon wasn't always able to buy out $60,000 studios for his business that's now worth millions. In fact, just like the town he grew up in, he was struggling too.
The way my studio started was I worked in my basement for 5 years, and then Linda got pregnant and asked me to get the lead out of the house. So I moved to the garage.
During the week, he worked a full-time job, inspecting aircraft parts for General Electric. And every other moment, he worked on his art.
Linda always said she was a glass widow because I would come home from work and go down the basement, and that might be Friday evening, and she wouldn't see me until Monday morning when I was going to work.
He would take odd jobs that paid in scrap glass just to spend time living out his passion.
After I worked 8 hours, he'd take a bench brush and sweep the glass shards into a box, and that's what I got paid. And it wasn't about the money, it wasn't about the glass, it was more about the knowledge that I learned.
He eventually opened his own studio in 1983 before merging with the historical Reardon Studios 12 years ago, when that owner became ill.
The glass today doesn't measure up to the glass in the past because, like anything else, it was about quality, it wasn't about money. Some of the archives we have and different pieces from Reardon, they're invaluable.
He bought this building from the city of Middletown for just $100 and got a $300,000 loan.
When I took the building, we were alone. There was nothing. And then it took me 4 or 5 years to get my building and my business established.
And in that time, he's tried to reestablish his city too, shining light on the town through his stained glass. He's attracted several businesses to the building since the merge.
There's a frame shop, a graphic artist, a dance attire studio, a woman's boutique,
and a restaurant that he just opened last April, walls lined with his stained glass.
If you can go and have a steak with crab meat and a glass of wine and tour the oldest studio in the United States, wow. I mean, that's like Cracker Barrel on crack.
A bridge between the city of Middletown and the business that's colored much of America for more than a century. Taylor Muirfendereski, 9 on your side.